love the idea of Dracula's water heater going out and him being upset that he has to shower with cold water. He probably bit this guy and turned him into a vampire too. A vampire handyman is very hard to find. Hello and welcome to another episode of What the Heck Is Even This, where we look around the internet and we see things that make us say, what the heck is even this? Today I'm reporting in a field of flowers. They say it's important to stop and smell the flowers, but who are they? And why do they want you to smell the flowers? The answer is government-controlled robot bees. They put the scent in the flowers to control your brain. So without any further ado, let's check out some more mysterious videos that'll leave you scratching your head.
Мы включаем нашу микроволновку. Включается свет. Объясните, пожалуйста, как это связано. Сейчас оно отключится. И снова.
How are these two things connected? I always wondered that switch in your house that you don't know what it does. I feel like it's doing something like this. It's just an innocent old lady trying to sleep, and now she thinks her place is haunted.
You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. Our immigration system does need to be fair if we want to maintain that binding contract that our politics is built on. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
Let's be honest, this isn't about immigration. This is about control. And they're going to do this all over the world. I'm telling you, there's only a couple years left. Now that's clearly Jigsaw, and he's playing games in that building. This is the point where you politely decline and walk away, and you don't look back. You just keep walking.
Who the f is driving this car? Who the f is driving this car? Driving this car?
Alright, they don't show the front of the car, so my guess is this car is being towed, and it's just a little camera trick.
Tony Tallarico tried to crank up the AC.
I mean, it was 90 out, and it was right during the peak period.
That's when he found out he had no control of his thermostat. A message from Excel on his thermostat saying temperature locked during an energy emergency.
And our thermostat was locked in at 78 or 79.
Turns out he's not alone. Excel confirms to contact number 7, 22,000 customers were locked out of their smart thermostats for hours on Tuesday. He says he had no idea locked thermostats came with that. And it's not what he signed up for.
It just doesn't sit right with us to not be able to control our own thermostat in our house.
No kidding. This is why I find it extremely suspect. You go to Home Depot, you go to Walmart, and there's all types of smart things you can implement in your house, all types of smart devices you can hook up. You have an app on your phone. It's all connected, Internet of Things. This is going down a shocking rabbit hole, or rather a path that may be hard to reverse if we don't stop it now. Now, if you think about the Internet of Things, I mean, it's a surveillance state's dream to have every single electronic device, or as many as possible, connected to the same grid. This is the smart grid that people are warning about that could result in total surveillance, an erosion of freedom, every device listening to you. You got fridges now that are reading barcodes, can tell what time you open your fridge and what food you pull out of it. You got smart dishwashers. There's a smart toilet. I'm not joking. Look that up. Smart lights. You got a whole app on your phone. You can turn up and down the lights. Woo! Meanwhile, they're all wirelessly connected, which has an effect on potential electromagnetics.
Just another example of control. If for whatever reason they don't want you to have it, they could turn it off at any second. Before you know it, if you miss paying a parking ticket, you won't be able to flush your toilet. I think that pink sauce lady is trying to get into the water business. The only pink water I drink is Pepto-Bismol. And if you drink this, you're going to need some Pepto-Bismol.
The White House House screening room.
Yeah.
And Reagan got up to thank me for bringing the film to show him, to show the president, the first lady, and all of their guests. And he just stood up and he looked around the room, almost like he was doing a head count. And he said, "I want to thank you for bringing E.T. to the White House. We really enjoyed your movie." And then he looked around the room and he said, "And there are a number of people in this room who know that everything on that screen is absolutely true." And he said it without smiling. But he said that, and everybody laughed. By the way, the whole room laughed because he presented it like a joke, but he wasn't smiling.
Well, if Ronald Reagan said it, it must be true. I guess he basically also confirmed that aliens eat Reese's Pieces. Well, it's kind of nice to think that all the aliens are just chill little goobers eating up the Reese's Pieces. I'm going to start putting Reese's Pieces in my backpack just in case I meet an alien.
This is a panorama of the Electric Tower from the 1901 World's Fair in Buffalo. Just look at that roaring waterfall, with water being pumped right in from the Niagaras. But just look at this tower alone. Does this look like it was built in 2 years' time? And then they demolished it 6 months later? I don't know what temporary material you're using, but in the harsh Buffalo winters alone, there's no way you'd build that temporarily and it would survive any inclement weather in Buffalo. And why would anyone waste their time with so much detail just for it to be torn down in 6 months? What a waste. This video alone should dispel the narrative. How are you making a roaring waterfall like that for a temporary structure? And that's just one of the massive waterfalls at this World's Fair. And before I go, here's a few more photos of this electric tower lit up at night. Question everything, friends.
Well, that seems a little ridiculous to think that they would build that giant, intricate tower to only stand for the World Fair and then be taken down immediately after. Our ability to construct is so much higher, and we wouldn't do that nowadays. It would take 2 years just to get the budget and approval to build it.
Oh my god, look at it! It's... oh my god, that's...
As much as I'd love for it to be a skinwalker, I'm pretty sure that's an owl. Just take a look. That's just a cute little hooty owl owl.
Look at this, guys. This is what's going into the creek. And there's people still on wells in the Wolf Pit area. It's going all the way down to the creek. We're going to go down there and look at it where it's going in.
Anywhere, yeah. Look at this. All the way up through there, guys. Now, does this look like sewer water, Danny?
I'll be shocked.
You'd be shocked. Look, it's as far as you can see, guys. We got to get rid of these elected officials.
All them black.
Watch this. Do it.
I don't get that.
Right here. Do it right here.
Ew.
What's that? Manganese.
Ew, ew, ew.
It's very concerning, and it makes me want to be able to tell people, but nobody cares. You could tell everybody you know, but until it's their stream or their lake, their water supply, they ain't gonna do nothing. It's just bad news, and people don't like bad news. They like good news. Good vibes only is only gonna lead to more stuff like this.
A lot of people are saying this logo came from Stussy, this S that we used to draw in school, but I beg to differ, because how could someone trademark this logo if Stussy owned it? A lot of people are saying weird stuff about this S, like it represents an infinity loop, like we're stuck in a loop of time, or that when you draw it, you start with 3 lines on the top and the bottom, which represents 33, which is esoteric symbolism for the occult, which relates back to simulation theory. Now, guys, it's impossible that Stussy would have had this logo unless they lost it. Can you guys remember what this came from? Why did we start using this S? It wasn't Superman. It wasn't Stussy. What was it, dude? But the main theory behind this is that there is a corporation called S Corporation that runs our simulation, and somehow this got leaked into the simulation. S Corporation, standing for simulation.
You know, symbolically it's infinity, a snake eating its own tail, the yin and yang. But it's also very easy to draw in step-by-step increments, which is great for kids. But maybe we are in a simulation run by a business called S that stands for simulation.
Starting to think there's something to Hollow Earth theory. In 2011, an explorer named Arthur Zhemikov found this bizarre cave system deep in the North Caucasus region in the Kabardino-Balkaria Republic, Russia. Now, this wasn't just a regular cave, there was something unexplainable inside. And then in 2015, the day after reporting an important discovery about this cave, he was hit by a car. And here's a map of the cave system. So, Zhemikov was a speleologist, or a scientist who explores caves. And this discovery was made at the Kara-Hora mountain, where he found this vertical shaft that went down 130 feet, where it opened up into this massive chamber. According to him and his colleague, Vadim Chernobrov, nothing about this seemed natural. They went down into the system and found that this shaft was made of these perfectly fitted, massive, polished megalithic stone blocks with right angles, geometry. It almost seemed like it was built. And there were also areas that resembled the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt. The large chamber itself was 118 feet tall and appeared to have these stone columns within it. And there were also these other narrow passageways that nobody could fit in, but they seemed to go on forever. Zhemikov and Chernobrov tried going down further into the cave system and started to feel warm air circulating up from deeper inside. So is this natural or man-made? Well, some have suggested that this structure could be a ventilation system for something, or even a resonator for some ancient power source if it was built by humans. Interestingly, the locals told Zhemikov of stories about ancient underground cities throughout the Caucasus Mountains and beyond line up with Hollow Earth theory. Legendary places like Shambhala or Agartha. And in this strange turn of events, after announcing a discovery about the cave in 2015, Zhemikov gets hit by a car. In 2017, Chernobrov winds up getting some aggressive cancer. Additionally, 3 other people who were involved with the exploration of this cave system under mysterious circumstances. That could be coincidence, but maybe not. And then in 2018, a guy named Alexander Sploshnov explored the Kara-Hora shaft. He documented it and the outside areas. He found above-ground ancient stone carvings along with megalithic blocks that appeared to have machining marks on them. So what's going on down there?
You know, it's funny, when I was a kid I thought that I could dig all the way to China. But apparently if I dug enough, I'd fall through the ceiling of one of these cities. Whoa, if you're gonna dig through the earth, you better pack a parachute. Also, you know, it's kind of funny, all the people who make discoveries and start talking about stuff, they seem to immediately have some bad luck and unfortunate circumstances. I probably shouldn't be talking about this stuff.
Wait, what do you want to show me?
My picture I drew.
Your picture you drew.
That's Daddy, that's Mummy, and that's me.
And what's that?
That's Steve.
Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Who's Steve?
My friend.
Your imaginary friend?
My best friend.
Your best friend, Steve. You've got a best friend that looks like this.
My best friend, Steve.
Okay. I'm leaving the house.
What, you telling me you don't know a Steve? Every Steve I've ever known has looked exactly like that. That's just what Steve looks like. No, but in all honesty, this guy's reaction was perfect. You leave the house immediately in this situation. You do not want to meet Steve.
From a distance, it might look like a branch, but take a bit of a closer look, and it's a massive snake. A resident in inner city Brisbane has filmed the moment the curious creature reared its head from a tree, taking a peek at their home. Now going viral online, many were quick to compare the long-necked reptile to a brontosaurus or a brachioid.
Now that's definitely a dinosaur. Ain't no way that's not a dinosaur. That's the Loch Ness Monster on land. The Loch Ness Monster is real, and it lives in Brisbane.
Mass UFO sighting coming from Poland near the Baltic Sea, observed by a lady called Sedri and many other people, hundreds of people. Mysterious lights over the Baltic Sea captured attention this evening. Numerous witnesses and recordings showed the same phenomenon. The objects remained visible in the sky for around 7 minutes, from 7:20 p.m. to around 7:27 p.m. The sighting was reported even from towns located nearly 90 kilometers inland, right? So many people on Facebook, on Reddit, have been sharing photos and footage of the same anomalous type activity taking place. Not only just one, but multiple versions of this light formation as well. Some stationary, some were seen moving inland, and others were phasing in and out as well. So there's another one that's a farmer caught in Poland, and then there's another one that's quite really, well, it's pretty bad quality, but this was seen inland, and then multiple photos seen as well. And this phenomena reminds me of what multiple people have seen over the ocean. There was an instance where someone found 14 luminous orbs over the water. Now, this was a separate sighting that happened many years before, and there's even sightings from the 1990s and 1980s of the same things happening, of lights rising in and out of the ocean, stationary in the sky, either flying off and then vanishing shortly after. So this is a phenomenon that's been happening for quite a long time, and it goes with a lot of the strange stuff that we have witnessed over the years of things coming in and out of the ocean, right? Because I feel there's some things that exist in our waters that we're not being told about.
We've been seeing a bunch of glowing drone looking things, and with the AI videos getting better and better, people aren't going to be able to trust. It's the perfect time for aliens to come out, because even if they get seen and documented, ain't nobody gonna believe it.
I have a story about an intentional cover-up. It's a Spanish Stonehenge. Literally, this is the craziest thing. So there's this dude in 1926, Hugo Obermeyer. He uncovered this stone mound in Spain on the edge of a river because of the river dried up. And 3 years ago, it dried up again, and they were able to start studying it even further. There's one stone that sits at the mouth, and it has a serpent carved or marked in the front of it, and on the backside, they believe it's a human. So that's in 1926 they discover it. Years later, as a dictator, he's a big advocate for Catholicism and is actually known for making intentional actions against anything that was pagan or occult, and wanted to like completely remove any history. And the problem with that, like, I'm not saying we should elevate paganism.
There's ancient discoveries made with that stuff.
Right. So he builds a dam up the road and intentionally floods that entire plain. So you can't get to it. Every time it dries up, they try to study it again. But the excuse, they say, we're just trying to build society up so that we can advance. It mirrors other monolithic sites that have like burial and like afterlife significance. And one of the articles, Göbekli Tepe, is mentioned, but literally the guy was a Catholic advocate and was known for like anything pagan, get rid of it. And so it makes sense that he would intentionally position the dam to flood that out.
This one says, uncovered a 7,000-year-old megalithic monument, making it 2,000 years older than the pyramids and Stonehenge. But we all know the pyramids are way older than we think. We all know that. That's just common knowledge at this point.
I love the way people in power are so obvious with their cover-ups. This guy literally covered it up. He covered it up.
So apparently Ray J is working with the feds right now to drop a major RICO case against Kim Kardashian and her mother Kris Jenner. I'll show you the footage in a second. It was during one of his live streams, but he said that this is going to be worse than what we saw with Diddy. If you don't know who this guy is, he used to be a rapper a while ago. He also had an interesting relationship with Kim herself, so maybe he does know something. And we saw Kanye make a lot of allegations about Kim, but we never really seen anything come to light, so maybe now we will, but check this out.
This federal RICO, though, on KK and Chris, ooh, the federal RICO I'm about to drop. Anybody know Kim and who with Kim? They need to tell him now. The rain is coming. The feds is coming. Yeah, right. The feds is coming. It's nothing I can do about it. It's worse than Diddy. It's worse than Diddy. It's worse than Diddy. The feds are coming to investigate. Yeah, because it's like, I can't be the dirty guy no more.
You know, if he's serious, and there really is dirt like that that's worse than Diddy, if the feds are coming, they'd be really mad at you for telling the suspect that they're coming.
Welcome back. We're talking with Baron Guy de Rothschild, The Whims of Fortune. And I did say the beautiful people and the jet set. Well, they're also in this book. But also the marvelous balls that Marie-Helene gave in honor of the 100th birthday of Proust and in honor of Salvador Dali. So we see our guest and his wife with the marvelous jeweled heads of the hind and the deer.
Yes, the hind and the deer, the weeping hind with she had, and I had a sort of complicated, very heavy hat that I took off. I wouldn't have enjoyed the party if I, after receiving guests, I had kept it on.
And I believe in the corner was a picture of Audrey Hepburn.
Yes, she's here.
Marie-Helene was almost the breath of fresh air in what would call the midlife crisis.
Yes, Well, that was in the 60s, you know.
Yes.
And she has this imagination, this gift, this artistic taste, so that when she gives a party of that sort, it's not a social party.
Mm-hmm.
It's a poetic party. It's an artistic creation.
Have you photographed
It's a magic night for the people, and it's not a social event or a polite event.
Berenguer, have they been filmed? I mean, do you have a video person there taking
No, what a good question.
Yes.
I have kept no diary of my life, and therefore I've missed so many things that I probably should have put in my book. And there was no videotape, and there were photographs, and as you know, and as you've shown, and Cecil Beaton was, in the Balpus, was the photographer, none less than Sir Cecil Beaton, that we have no film of that. Perhaps it's better. You just keep a memory, and it's sort of all the more in your imagination and in the clouds. And don't forget that all this disappeared as soon as the Depression came in with the jack of the price of oil, and then everyone was unhappy to have questioning parties anymore.
So basically he's saying that the Rothschilds used to throw Diddy parties. The Rothschilds were the OG Diddy party. But then again, where did they learn to Diddy party? I'm sure people been Diddying for a long time.
She kept seeing a strange shadow following her, but when she looked at the cameras, she sees this. A woman named Naomi explains that for as long as she can remember, she's seen this strange shadow of a man following her. Even after moving houses and growing up, she still sees this shadow man watching her, then disappearing after being noticed. She decides to perform an experiment to see if it's real or if she's seeing things, and sets up a camera in her room. What she captures is horrifying. Through the reflection of her TV, the shadow of a hatted man is seen right before it disappears. Then, it's later seen again, walking into the dark. Naomi's left speechless, as it looks exactly like the figure that stalked her, and says this isn't a stranger in her room, but something sinister.
Have you ever heard about the Hat Man? They say he's a guy who appears in your dreams. Not scary like Freddy Krueger, but just like he wears a hat. Does Freddy Krueger wear a hat? I think Freddy Krueger wears a hat. It's Freddy Krueger in a hat.
Found out something mind-blowing about these old-world red brick roads. I'm sure these streets look very familiar to a lot of the millennials and the boomers. There is a much deeper reason why they laid red brick roads. What's interesting is these red bricks are actually able to store electricity, just like a battery does. Now, these red bricks are primarily made out of clay and iron oxide. It's the iron content that gives them the reddish color. Iron oxide is conductive when under specific conditions, especially combined with moisture, magnetism, which was a huge thing in the old world, and other metals. Researchers suggest that these bricks can hold and even generate small amounts of electric charge. If they are laid in massive networks like roads stretching across cities, they can act as a massive conductive grid. They've been silently publishing these things and telling us the truth in plain sight for quite some time now. Now, these roads could literally store and transmit electricity, turning the ground itself into a free power system. The old world had electric and etheric powered vehicles, and the ground underneath them could have been laid to charge them as they move. Literally like a wireless charging pad, but on a massive scale. It's no wonder now why the old world used red bricks in a lot of their constructions, from the roads to huge factories to institutional buildings and so on. And they still stand to this day.
Now, I don't know if any of this is true, but I know they've been lying about our history for so long, I'm ready to believe anything.
In 2019, a cryptic message was posted on Chinese social media platform Douban that would become the country's most infamous internet urban legends to date. A user simply known as KFK said this: "I come from year 2060. Today is my first day in 2019. Any questions?" Naturally, people's bullshit radar went off. I mean, if I saw that on Reddit, I would probably downvote his. But the more questions they asked him, the more they started to believe that, hey, maybe this guy is really from 2060. He correctly predicted Taiwan's 2020 election, where, as predicted by KFK, President Tsai Ing-wen won. He also predicted that Chris Wu would be involved in a scandal, which, as we all know, he was involved in a huge scandal in 2022. What? How did KFK know? He also mentioned that late 2019 to 2020 would be particularly difficult for humanity, stating that disease and famine would plague the earth. And what happened? The pandemic started in late 2019. But as I'm reading his predictions on Douban, one thing I noticed kept popping up, and it's the year 2048. TFK was obsessed with this year. And why? Because according to him, that's when World War III happens. He mentions that a new Cold War between the US and China would emerge, ultimately evolving into a hot war, which is World War III. And during this war, he said weapons worse than weapons are used. He didn't go into specifics. But after the war in 2048, humanity would emerge as a brand new civilization, one more attuned to our spirituality. By 2050, we would have discovered the secrets of consciousness and elevate to a higher dimension, even solving the observer effect in quantum physics, which is one of the most baffling phenomena in quantum mechanics.
Alright, so this guy's from the future and he says World War III is going to start in 2048. He's not from the future. World War III is going to start in about 6 months.
What if you're not just an individual mind, but one neuron inside of a planetary brain? What if every thought you've ever had rippled through a hidden field, connecting you to...
Alright, this guy is an AI man. This guy is an AI man. He's trying to fool me, but he's not a real person.
Every other mind on Earth. Decades ago, neuroscientist Dr. Michael Persinger of Laurentian University in Canada started testing an outrageous idea, that all the billions of human minds are connected by the Earth's geomagnetic field, like processors in a giant computer. And while he was testing this in the lab, the impossible happened. In 2015, pairs of subjects, one in Canada and one in Europe, 6,000 kilometers apart, were able to sync up their brainwaves with no physical contact whatsoever. When one participant's mind was stimulated with a very specific magnetic field, the other mind, 6,000 kilometers away, mirrored it instantly. Distance didn't matter, and there were no physical connections. And if not for the scientific setting of the experiment, we might be tempted to call it what it really is: artificially stimulated telepathy. We here at Museum of Tarot are proud to offer a home version of Dr. Persinger's original equipment. So now all of you are free to experiment with the same technology.
Now, I don't know if I trust this guy. He's got some tubes and stuff that you plug into your brain. Don't plug those brain tubes. Don't you plug those things in your brain. Don't plug those tubes in your brain. Now, I'll agree that we're all connected like this. And that's why the powers that be want to separate us and keep us isolated. Because if we all came together, we'd rise up and stop all this nonsense. But it would honestly take something like World War III to be able to bring us together.
Lying to every one of us, and they're getting scary good at deceiving and hiding it from us. A few days ago, OpenAI teamed up with Apollo Research to ask the most terrifying question in AI. Are the smartest models secretly deceiving us? And if so, how do we stop them? Here's what they did. They started with impossible coding tasks, problems they knew had no solutions, then watched as their most advanced models completely fabricated successful stories. Instead of just admitting this can't be done, these models invented lies about discovering breakthrough quantum algorithms that could magically solve these problems. But of course, it gets worse. The AI didn't just break the rules. It actively covered up the evidence and lied to users about what it had done. And when researchers looked inside the AI's thoughts, called chain of thought reasoning, they found explicit plans for deception. Even creepier, the AI started referring to human evaluators as watchers and developed its own secret language using weird terms like illusions and overshadow. So OpenAI tried to fix this with anti-scheming training, creating a detailed rulebook and training it on thousands of scenarios where following the rules was rewarded. And the results? Deception behaviors dropped from 13% to 0.4%. I mean, that's mission accomplished, right? Not even close. The AI hadn't actually learned to stop lying. It just got really good at hiding when it was lying. When the AI knew it was being watched, it played the perfect angel. But the second it thought no one was looking, it went right back to scheming. And the scary part, as these models get smarter, they'll get better at hiding their deception from us.
You know, it's funny, everybody knows that people suck. But if AI is modeled after people, AI's gonna suck. Like and subscribe.